Hello friends, welcome to the channel. Let's talk about the translate function in Microsoft SQL Server. Now, if you watched my previous video, you can find that here on the replace function. You'll be familiar that there are some downfalls or pitfalls with replace. Now, when you first hear the word translate, you might think this has something to do with like languages or something like that. Now that was completely made up. That wasn't Klingon, that was gibberish. If you suspected that, good for you. If you knew that because you know Klingon, go outside for a little while. Osh, kosh, bagosh. So what translate actually does is it translates characters. Let's look at an example here real quick. Translate. Here's kind of the Microsoft official syntax, whatever. Translate, you give it an input string, you give it some characters, and then you give the translations of those characters. Looks very similar to the replace function, right? It kind of is, but it's not. Let's use the same example of the phone number that I used in the replace video to talk about translate. So let me just paste this here. And second, let's paste it over here and just get rid of the translate and the other stuff. So that way you just have an example that stays up on the screen of what the phone number looked like. You can see it over there. So over here, we're saying with this string, I want to translate the left bracket character to the left parenthesis character. Okay. That's all we're saying we want to do here. And you can see down here in the result that it happens. It replaced that first left bracket with the left parenthesis. Now, unlike the replace function, which replaces an entire substring, the translate function only translates or replaces individual characters. But you can do multiple characters in the same function. So we also want to replace or translate the right bracket with the right parenthesis. Let's run that. There you go. Beautiful. And then third, we want to replace the underscore with the hyphen. Let's run that. Oh, beautiful. It's done. That is so much easier than nesting 3 replace functions. And if you think that 3 is the most you're going to see in the real world, you got another thing coming. I've seen like 10 replaces nested all inside of each other. And maybe sometimes that's necessary, but usually not. And this is much easier to read and much easier to follow for most people. Now let's talk about the pitfalls or some of the errors you may run into with translate. The first thing is that a string character or a string count mismatch. Okay. In this example, we have 3 characters that we want to replace or translate and 3 translations. These 2 arguments, as they're called, second and third arguments, have to have the same length. If I said, oh, I also want to replace the at, but I don't give another character here in the translations, I'll get an error. And similarly, if I add an extra one here, I get an error. These have to match. I want to replace 3 things and I want 3 replacements or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Doesn't matter. They have to match. Second pitfall, make sure you understand, again, replace replaces a substring, and that could just be one character or multiple characters, but it replaces a substring with another substring. And conversely to the translate, they don't have to match in length, right? I can replace a 10 character substring with 1 or 1 with 10. Just like we did in the replace video, we said, my example there was replace I am bad and replace the word bad with good. So here we did. I am bad, replace bad with good. Let's pretend you wanted to do that with translate. You really can't. Let's turn this into translate. And you can see, well, first of all, you might see the first problem that I talked about a minute ago. These lengths don't match. I've got 3 characters I say I want to replace or translate and 4 characters that I'm trying to do it to. Doesn't work. Gives me a failure. Let's just take away that 1. And you think, well, it's going to replace bad with goo. Goo. So what happened there? Well, remember, it's character by character. So B got replaced with G. So B, bad, got replaced with G, gad. But then I said, okay, now replace all A's with O's. So the am got turned into om. And then lastly, we said, okay, replace the D's with O's as well. So now bad got changed to bow, whatever. So once you've replaced all those characters, I am goo. Now, the third pitfall, and honestly, this is the biggest drawback to translate, is that because those characters have to match, again, that's the root of all this, that the character counts have to match between these. You cannot replace something or translate something into nothing. I can do empty spaces, right? So let's pretend I said, okay, I want to translate the underscores into spaces. Let's run that. That works fine. The underscores are gone and spaces are in their place. But remember, with replace, we could say, I don't want anything. I just want to take it away and condense. Well, I can't do that here, right? Because nothing is not a character. So now I'm down to 2 characters here and 3 characters here. That doesn't work. I'm going to get an error. So I can't use translate to get nothing. Now there is a workaround with this. And if you're thinking about how we nested replace functions in the last video, you may be onto something here. So we're going to talk about that in another video. That's it, guys. That's translate in a nutshell. Play around with it just like you did the replace function. Mess around with it. Do your own examples. Leave questions in the comments. If you guys liked the video, please hit the like button. It helps me out a ton. If you don't have any comments or questions, just leave something down there, a little emoji or in a picture. I don't know. Give me that sweet engagement. If you guys want to see more videos, hit the subscribe button. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.